Guys. Okay, so let me share my screen and start the presentation. Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, hello everyone. Thanks everyone who joined the session. Thank you, Aventido, for having the opportunity to speak. I think for the third time in a row in the 12 ITs of Christmas. It's always a great honor. So in this presentation, we will talk about Lightkey in the space of, overpopulated AI-based solutions, and what is the unique position of Lightkey and Lightkey Medical in particular. And then we will pave our way to see a live demo of Lightkey, and then some of the unique capabilities of Lightkey Medical as well. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Just a quick recap. Lightkey is a personalized solution that predicts up to 18 words, including punctuation marks, in millions of apps, both desktop and browser apps. It has its verticals, as I've mentioned before. We have the General Edition, which is for the mainstream people who just want to improve their typing efficiency. We have the Assistive Technology Edition, or the Pro AT Edition, and the Medical Edition that will focus in this presentation. Lightkey has a unique positioning that we'll talk about in a few slides, but generally it has a very strict privacy policy. It is multilingual and localized, and it supports up to 85 languages. And that creates a unique opportunity for Lightkey in this, again, overpopulated space of solutions and writing solutions, etc. So let's just pick a few things that I think worth mentioning in the context of Lightkey in the end of 2024. The first one is the personalization part. So let's take ChatGPT, for example. We can imagine it as an expert that we can ask questions and get answers, which is good and nice, but this expert doesn't have any intent to really know us and understand how we work and how we write our content and etc. And on the other side, you can imagine a person who just sits with you when you write your content, and they learn, just as you can imagine a human sitting beside you, and they look what you are doing. Actually, what sentence are you writing in your emails, documents, presentations, different applications, in different times of day, in different contexts, etc. And at some point, they will able to complete your sentences and even like point out very, very contextual errors that you've made. And this is what Lightkey stands for. It is the solution that tries to adapt itself to you versus you trying to get something out of it. And so that was a core pillar that helped us shape Lightkey. And speaking about, let's say, generative AI, or I've mentioned ChatGPT as an example. They are very, very happy to take your content and make you as the product where they give you something for free. And for us, again, it's the opposite stance. We are privacy first. We will never send your content anywhere outside your machine. I've actually attached the actual legal clause in our privacy policy that says that we will never collect your content as it is your private property. It was important to us to be very, very explicit because we believe in it. It's something we stand for, not making the user as our product. And we worked hard for the past 8 years to train Lightkey on public knowledge and not use our customer data in any shape or form. And this is, by the way, why we are trusted by government institutions, financial institutions, and Fortune 500 companies in general. The last aspect is the intuitive part. If you take, let's say, the medical space, as Anthony mentioned before, we have dictation solutions that are not always suitable for some people because like speaking the content and then going over it is not something that we are used to versus like typing it. Another thing is if we share a physical space with someone, it's not always comfortable just speaking to our PCs in front of other people. And on the other side, if we look at text expansion solutions, you need to actually manually guide them to help you. You need to say for every shortcut or keyboard combination, what kind of phrases or sentences do you want it to produce? And this is manual work to actually gain something out of it eventually. And Lightkey is embedding itself, blending naturally in your work in the sense that it will automatically understand what you're trying to achieve. And all you need to do is just to hit the tab key if you want Lightkey's predictions. Okay, so I think that these are like the core values that we stand for when we designed Lightkey. Now let's talk a little bit about Lightkey Medical. So as for any other Lightkey product, the onboarding is very, very simple. We will actually see a live installation of Lightkey Medical, which will, I hope, will show how simple is that. But of course, we have all the automation aspects of remotely deploying Lightkey using like SCCM or other deployment tools, Intune, etc. And Lightkey Medical is built on 4 layers of personalization. What you have recently written on your machine, of course, everything is local because, again, nothing is sent out of your machine. So what you have recently written, content that you write in real time. So Lightkey adjusts itself in real time for every word that you are writing. So that's also very, very significant in the overall experience. You can drag and drop your previously written content into Lightkey and get within seconds Lightkey is up to date with your like entire history, which is very, very nice, especially if you have like very extensive knowledge base that you want to Lightkey to start from. And of course, we have 27 pre-trained medical topics or language models that Lightkey is pre-packaged with. So it has a very good initial starting point when it comes to medical content. And now let's just take an example where we don't even have the traction, we don't have the history from the user, and see how Lightkey handles a typical medical content. So here you can see on the left side a medical content that is being predicted by Lightkey Professional, which is the general edition of Lightkey, where you can see that 24% of the content was successfully predicted. And on the right side, you can see the medical UK edition, which predicted a little bit over 55% of the content. So you can see that this is a major gain. But I mean, for marketing purposes, you may argue that that was cherry-picked, and I did that sample because it looks nice on the presentation. But actually, we've done very, very extensive benchmark across all the 27 medical fields, and we have performance metrics for each and every one of them. And you can see that consistently, Lightkey Pro on average predicts 24% of the content, while Lightkey Medical predicts 56.5% of the content. So again, this previous example is very, very consistent, or it is a good representation of the results that we are getting across all the medical fields. Okay, so I think that this is enough speaking for me, in the theoretical side. Let's go over and have a live demo. But just as a side note before that, we have one user that I wanted to show here that shared her testimonial. And she said that Lightkey saves her 18 hours of medical typing per month. She's a medical transcriber. And it's a huge time saver for her in terms of saving time. And if you think about it, she saves 2 working days per month and 40, no, sorry, 24 working days a year. So it's basically like more like than a working month a year just in terms of typing. So again, I think that's a very, very meaningful result. And if you take a more conservative measure and let's say we save 4 hours of pure typing per month and 48 hours a year, and the average time it takes to see a patient is 15 minutes, I think that you can see the potential in the amount of patients that you can accept. And moreover than that, the fact that you can actually spend the time with the patient instead of looking at the screen and typing something. And I think that on a human level, that's a more pleasant experience. Um, okay, so I think now we are ready for the live demo. So in the demo, I will do a quick demonstration of Lightkey's general capabilities. And then we'll go for the more advanced medical capabilities. So I have my first virtual machine, which has the Pro edition of Lightkey, as you can see here. And we have a blank profile. You can see everything here is empty. And I want to show just how Lightkey works in general. So I will write just a sentence, a simple sentence, and we'll take it from there. So I will write like the following. I am trying. You can see the prediction appears in line. Trying to write, my first sentence using Lightkey. Okay. You can see, let's add Lightkey to the words vocabulary. This is Microsoft Word doesn't know the word Lightkey, so just to spare the red line. And now let's write this sentence again, okay? I am trying to write my first sentence using Lightkey. And let's do that again. You can see that we are getting more meaningful predictions. And lastly, we are getting the entire sentence. And the idea here is to show you how Lightkey adapts itself or adapt itself to the user over time. So you can imagine this is just a fast forward example, but in the natural use case, as you will write in your unique language across emails, presentations, documents, Lightkey will lock in your unique style and give you longer and longer expressions as it will gain more confidence. So again, this is just a fast forward way to, I think, articulate that. The next thing is about spelling corrections. So originally we designed Lightkey to be predictive, just to complete your words, phrases, and sentences. But at some point we realized that we can harness and utilize Lightkey's prediction power to help you write words that you mistyped, either like in the form of spelling or grammatically. So if I will write something like, I don't like, and just throw something, because like I will try and write the word bureaucracy, but I don't have any clue to how to do that. Okay, so let me just throw something randomly. And let's just keep on writing, okay, in Mississippi. And again, you can see I'm bluntly throwing something into the air. You can see that Lightkey gives me what I intended to actually write. And again, all I need to do is to hit the tab key and everything is fixed. I don't need these red lines, to stop whatever I'm writing, go back, choose the different spelling correction options. I just keep on writing and keeping my line of thought. And at some point, if Lightkey, I feel confident enough to help me navigate my spelling or grammar corrections, it will offer that and I will accept that by using the tab key. Another example is grammar corrections. So if I will write something like, let's take, you can see the apostrophe is missing here because take is a verb. A break from, you can see again, contextually break. We don't need the car brakes. We need to take an actual break. Work and go to eat lunch together, okay? You can see again, contextually, like you understand the actual word usage based on the context that it's being provided. It can offer the actual grammar correction. And so I think that this is, just to touch on the basics of it. Let's do some more quick examples. Something like we have positioning-based keyboard layout-based corrections. So if I were to position my hands in a slightly incorrect way on the keyboard, and type the word Lightkey incorrectly. So instead of hitting the L character, I will hit the K, which is to the left of L in my keyboard. And instead of I will hit like the U character. And I will keep on hitting the wrong characters when I'm trying to write the word Lightkey. You can see that Lightkey in real time adjusts the shortest path in my keyboard, in my unique keyboard layout, to offer the word Lightkey, and it realizes that Lightkey is a noun that needs to be uppercase, so it also adds the uppercase correction along the way, and we get a word Lightkey. And so we have many more features. We have like UK versus US based corrections. If I have a US keyboard, so if I will write in the UK notation, you can see that we are getting the US form, and vice versa. If I will have the UK keyboard and try and write in the US form, I will get the opposite suggestions, and many more. Like we have tons of features, and I think the common thing across all of them is that you keep on working as you've been used to, and get this self-learning assistant that learns you over time and help you contextually be more productive and accurate over time. Okay, so now let's talk about Lightkey Medical. And for the sake of example, we will take a look on the dashboard later. I want to reset my prediction profile, okay? So we don't rely on our history, which will set us, again, in the blank installation part. And now let's try and write some more advanced medical stuff, okay? Let me just write the first sentence, which is the carpal tunnel syndrome. You can see this is a common medical term, so even the regular edition of Lightkey recognizes that. But now let's go more advanced, and now this is the part where I don't know what I'm actually typing, so apologies. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this content. Stenosinovitis. You can see that Lightkey doesn't even know these medical terms because they are like advanced medical terms. So it tries and offers spelling correction based on more common terms. But again, these are valid medical words. So that's, the first example. You can see even Word doesn't know how to handle this word. Let's take another example. Let's write the ligament was caught on its ulnar side with a knife. You can see, again, spelling corrections are trying to be offered, but because we are using very advanced medical terminology onto the hemostat. Okay, you can see that the experience is that when we hit more knowledgeable terms, more popular medical terms, Lightkey knows how to handle that. But when we are trying to actually write the more advanced stuff, Lightkey is not familiar with that. Again, as I've said, if I will write the same sentence again, Lightkey will pick it up because it knows, like, it learns from the user. But we want a better experience out of the box. And this is where Lightkey Medical comes into play. So I will switch to my next virtual machine. And as I've promised, let's go over and install Lightkey Medical. Okay, so we will also have, we will experience the onboarding experience. So you can see that I've just clicked on the install button and everything happens behind the scenes. So we don't need to, navigate some settings and menus, etc. It will take a few more seconds. And this is why we offer these nice images in the background. I will skip the browser extension for now, because we will demonstrate Lightkey in Microsoft Office. And once Lightkey is started, you basically need to answer two basic questions. The first one is to select the prediction key. We highly recommend tab because it doesn't have any collisions with other use cases. And the second question is, what are the medical topics that we are actually trying to write about? For the sake of this example, of our first example, I will skip that and go with the blank default settings. And now let's just create some more space. I will switch over to my favorite font. Let's create more margins, so we'll have more space to demonstrate Lightkey and start writing. So I'm getting back to the original example that I've made. Okay, so let's start. I will quickly write that and we will see the experience without any medical topic selected. Okay, so carpal tunnel syndrome and this word. You can see now this word is being predicted. Tenosing. See, okay, thanks Lightkey. Again, this word is being predicted, which is a more complex word. The ligament was caught on its ulnar side. You can see now it gets that that's a medical term. Knife directly onto the hemostat. Okay. Nice. Lightkey is familiar with more terms. Sometimes it gives more meaningful predictions based out of it. But again, we want a more meaningful experience. And now, if I were to choose, go to the dashboard and go to the medical topics and choose the family medicine medical topic, now we will see some more magic because we will activate the relevant language model that will provide some more meaningful predictions. So now if I will start and write the same sentence, so carpal tunnel syndrome and the Purvine's stenocyte. Okay, now we are getting a more meaningful prediction. The ligament was cut on its ulnar side with a knife directly on to the hemostat. Okay. Now we can see that we are getting more out of Lightkey out of the box. And, just to demonstrate that in a different way, if I were to make, instead of the word ulnar side, I will write it incorrectly, ulnar side, you can see that now we're actually getting domain based contextual spelling correction, which is derived from the fact that Lightkey realizes or understands what kind of medical content we are writing about. So I think that's also showing the power of spelling corrections that we've seen before in the more general aspect, in the more expertise side of things. Okay, let's do another example. Let's choose the general medical category and write some sentences about that. Again, apologies, I don't really understand what they mean, but I think that they reflect Lightkey's capabilities pretty effectively. After a smooth induction and intubation, the patient was positioned supine on the operating table, okay, with with the neck placed on. You can see the prediction is positioned differently because it will otherwise slide beyond the screen. And the head supported on a foam donut. You saw that that was even more a better experience. Let's go over and type another one. The patient was given, I would even try and read that. Sorry, and thigh high head hoses were placed on the lower extremities while in the free anesthetic holding area. Okay, so yeah, I think that conveys the overall experience, which you can see how Lightkey really understands and give you meaningful predictions based on the medical topic that you want to work with. And of course, you don't need to choose just a single medical topic. You can choose whatever combination of medical topics you want to work with. And so in every time we'll change it, like you will recompile its prediction graph or prediction model accordingly. And you will get the the expert experience or the expertise in each and every one of these fields accordingly. Let's go over a little bit over the Lightkey dashboard. You can see here the time saved in the short example. In the previous or in the first demo, we saved, I reset my profile, but we saved a minute and a half. Here we saved almost 3 minutes. So during my session, we've saved almost like 4.5 minutes during this very presentation. Everything is clickable, so you can click on that and see your metrics across all the different values, how many keystrokes saved, words corrected, the efficiency, how much time do I type daily. This is like a single data point because we have a blank installation of Lightkey, but you can cross that across different time spans, applications, languages, etc. You can, of course, create categories and import content. As I've mentioned during the presentation, you can just import files and folders into Lightkey to accelerate its understanding of your previously created knowledge or content. In the preferences, you can, tailor Lightkey in many ways. You can disable or enable Lightkey in different applications. You can ensure that it will be installed in the browser applications. You can, toggle on and off some more advanced settings that you want. We also have, by the way, the accessibility features of Lightkey here in place. So we also have like more advanced stuff like reading aloud predictions, setting a different prediction color, etc. So again, if you want, Lightkey can be very, very, go to a very in-depth, fine-tuned experience for the more professional aspects of it. But generally, if you just install Lightkey and just start, type and use the tab key, this is all the thing. This is everything you need, basically. All the advanced stuff is if you want to get more advanced, but 99% of the functionality is just there by just using the product as it is installed when it works in line with your content. Okay, so I think that this is pretty much it for the presentation. I think it's a good time to switch over to your questions.
The questions have been busy, Guy, but that was awesome. Thank you very much for your presentation. And yeah, fantastic as always. There have been a whole bunch, and thanks to Kerry and David and Dawn and everybody else who's been throwing questions into the Q&A. Some of which we've tried to answer as you've been talking. So if anybody hasn't taken a look at the Q&A, I would just suggest they go in there and look at the answered questions as well. Just take a quick look if I just read these through. So is it compatible with clinical notes such as System 1, Clinics, and Inform? Which, yep, it is, I believe. Yep, we're happily nodding at that one.
Yeah.
How do you address information governance issues with NHS/NHS systems? And as Guy very rightly mentioned, Lightkey doesn't collect any user data or content, so all data is purely stored locally. There is nothing taken from your local system at all. It is completely local. Feel free to jump in, Guy, if I'm
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting like I'm enjoying like the Q&A being resolved by you automatically, so I don't need even to. But I mean, let's address that. I think in terms of my personal background, by the way, is cybersecurity, and that was one of the motivators to realize that it's always a matter of motivation and not capability to reach the content that is being stored somewhere in some like company's cloud. And this is why we very, very much believe in not sending it outside in the first place. We have been rigorously tested by various organizations that did like white box, black box, pen testing, any kind of test that you would want. And we are always passing them because we don't send something to the cloud that we need to secure. We don't send the content in the first place. So again, it's very, very easy to digest in terms of the regulations of companies in the that has high cybersecurity awareness. So yeah.
No, that's perfect. Manuel asked, the Lightkey is localized. Does it mean that it's resident on the computer or an in-house server for business users? As responded, it's purely on your device. Kerry has asked, reports and clinical records are written in very specific ways with expected ways of writing them, including loads of abbreviations such as TATT, tired all the time, or BD, twice daily. So it is less of the person's usual way of writing. I think, as we tried to explain there, basically it will learn your style of writing. So if you are using consistent terminology, it will very, very quickly pick up on any of that. That includes abbreviations, unless I'm mistaken, Guy.
Yes, I mean, actually, to just emphasize this point, we've done a pilot with with the hospital, and we showed them. They gave us like a document that has their unique writing style when they are, making patient records. And by just dragging and dropping that in under 10 seconds, we've demonstrated how Lightkey was effectively targeting their unique style in just a matter of seconds. So again, Lightkey is, very, very adaptable. And on top of whatever knowledge base that you will throw onto it, it will just adapt itself to your unique writing style. And you have more advanced stuff. You can ask Lightkey not to learn new terms and to be more conservative if you wanted to stick with the like pre-made or pre-tailored terms that you dragged into that. We have some more advanced stuff that we can take offline. But yeah, the short answer is yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Kerry, quick question on access to work there. Why don't all access to work assessors suggest this? We do have some that are, but yes, we are working our way around all the rest of them. If there's anybody specific you'd like us to have a conversation with because they need to be aware of this, we would obviously be delighted for any introduction to help us ensure that the right people are seeing the right solutions. please feel free to let any of us know about that. We'll dive on that straight away. We then have 7 open questions. I'm conscious we've got 2 minutes. I'm just going to pick and choose a couple from, would this be flagged as AI use on Turnitin for students? I am not aware we've checked this against Turnitin, but that's probably for us to do.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point around AI, and I'm going to know we're quick here, but obviously the AI that we talk about within Lightkey is obviously that localized ability. Guy, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, to learn in terms of what you're doing as a person, rather than I think what we see a lot of these days as AI in the cloud and ChatGPT and all those sort of things and stuff. Is that fair to say, Guy?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what we wanted to achieve with Lightkey, as opposed to ChatGPT and their like similar solutions, is be a natural extension of what you are actually trying to convey, and not to replace that by just doing the work for you. So if you have like the way that you want to articulate your content, Lightkey will be a very good assistant on that for regard, but it will never try and replace you. And so it doesn't, pertain to do that. So I think that's very different from ChatGPT, Claude, or other like Gen AI solutions out there.
Yeah. Perfect. Kerry said we can answer her questions offline. I'll also update James for you, Kerry, on a very interesting project around the NHS, which also involves Lightkey as well, which might be of interest.
Most definitely. So in which case, I'll go for one last easy question, which is, unfortunately, David has left, but he did ask the question, is this compatible with Word on a Mac, or does it only work on Windows-based machines?
It works in Windows. The Mac edition is not here yet, so apologies.
Awesome. Good stuff.